this is working. Okay. Hello. Hello. I hope you're doing amazing. My name is Carla Caldwell, and today I wanted to talk about 5 simple ways to stop the misinformation virus. Now, why would this matter? Okay, first of all, I need to disclose this is not geared towards any political party. This is just for all of us to make a little more sense because our reputation is at stake. So here's the deal. The other day, I was looking at social media profiles for 2 different reasons. I was looking at some people we were interviewing because I think social media says a lot about people who you're interviewing. And I was looking at a few potential stakeholders for a future project. And what was interesting is that as I'm looking at social media, I was really turned off by some of the material they were sharing. It wasn't credible. It was hearsay. It was really emotionally charged titles. And then the videos and articles, no substance. And I immediately thought, okay, these people are out. I was not going to consider hiring or working with them, right? And then I started thinking, am I ever guilty of this myself? And you know, the truth is that I don't know when, but at some point, you know, social media went from being about social things, right? Like what I'm doing, my pictures of my travels, my friends, my family, my babies, to a political and news platform, which it was never intended to be, right? And I don't know at what point we started getting fake news appearing, you know, news that isn't credible, but that we read it as if it were truth and we share it. And I'm really worried about our reputation if we keep doing that, because I don't know why we do certain things on social media thinking it's okay, no one's looking, but really everyone's looking. Your business partners, your bosses, your potential future investors are watching social media. And if you do not present yourself in a credible way, you're going to start to hurt your reputation. So what I wanted to do today is share 5 simple tips. Simple. And these simple tips I learned on the debate team in high school. I learned them in college, especially in nursing school, when I was learning how to decipher if something was credible or not, and now in graduate school. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty because I don't think we need to. I think we can focus on some simple things and get a lot of with this time together. So thank you for joining me. And please share this out if anyone you know can benefit. Especially, okay, all ages can benefit. But wouldn't it be awesome if we started with our middle schoolers and teenagers learning how to decipher what's credible and what isn't? I think that would be really great. And I think for us middle-aged people, it's helpful, and also for our parents. Because I find that a lot of our older generations, I feel like they think it's the news and it's not the news, right? So here we go. Number 1, tip number 1. Okay, know your bias. What does that mean? That means be really honest and know what you believe. Okay, so before you even get out there and start reading things, remember who you are and what you believe in. This is really, really important because what you believe in, your bias, will affect how you read material. So know what you're bringing to the table. This is a huge, huge, huge thing. It sounds simple. It's so simple, it's hard. But anytime you go to read anything to determine whether it's real or not, when you show up, know what you believe in, because this will affect how you read the material, which takes us to tip number 2. Tip number 2, be very wary. Be very, very careful during these 2 instances. 1, when you read a tagline or a headline that is in direct alignment with what you believe, like if you think cats are better and you see a tagline that says, cats are the most amazing creature ever, here's why. If you're not aware of your bias, what's going to happen is that before you even read something carefully, you've already determined that it's truth. So be really careful, because when you believe something that is in alignment with a title that you're reading in an article or video, you are at risk of thinking it's true just because of your beliefs. So now the opposite is true too. The opposite meaning that if you don't believe in something, like if something says cats are the worst, science shows how cats are the worst. If you believe cats are God's gift to men and women, then you are in danger of dismissing this article or video simply because of your beliefs. Now, I know you may be thinking, Carla, this is too simple. This is not, I wanted to learn some real tips. But the thing is when we're not present and aware of our bias, these things happen automatically. I'll give you an example. I was doing research, trying to find credibility for a program that I believe in 1,000%. I believe in this program, right? So I'm reading articles to see if it's effective. And already my mind, I'm searching for the articles that say, yes, this program is the most effective, because that's what I believe. That's what I want to see. I want to see affirmation of what I believe. And automatically I would kind of dismiss anything that said the contrary, that it wasn't effective. So when I came to the table to study whether this program's effective, I needed to be aware, okay, Carla, I know you love this program, so you're going to have to be extra careful when there is a positive article. You need to really determine if it's true or not, and if there's a negative article. Because if you see something negative that goes against what you believe, you're at risk for dismissing it as truth. And maybe it is truth, but because it goes against what you believe in, you dismiss it. All right, if any of you are out there, because I can't tell if my video's working, I'm trying to use Restream and I'm on Instagram. I'm not sure if it's coming out clear. Can you send me a little message that says like, hey, I'm here, I'm hearing you. Okay, hopefully you're there. Wouldn't that be funny? I record this whole thing and it didn't record and no one's there. Oh, well. All right. So, oh, Jackie's here. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for doing that. I wanted to make sure. Okay, so we went through the simple ones, right? Know your bias. Be really wary when you're reading something that is in alignment with your bias, because you're in danger of thinking it's true and it's not true, and also the opposite. Okay, now we're going to get into a little more detail. So now, actually, this one's simple too. Please, before you share something or deem it credible, make sure you read the full article or watch the full video. I see this all the time where people are sharing little snippets and they're taking things out of context. And if you actually go to the source, it says nothing related to what was posted. And awesome. Thank you, Carrie. So I know this sounds simple, but I was actually guilty of this a few months ago where I shared an article without reading the full article. It was just a little snippet. Don't do that. Read the whole thing. And if you can't be bothered, like if it's too much, then you shouldn't be sharing it. That's a sign. You know, we can't be lazy about if we're sharing something that's supposed to inform others. Okay, so very simple. Read the article, watch the video before you share it to determine if it's credible or not. All right, so here, let's say you've checked your bias. Let's say you've read the full article. Let's say you've watched the full video and you're like, this is good stuff. The next thing is, who is writing this? Who is posting? Who's the creator? Who's the author? I don't think we ever ask that in social media. We're like, Joe Schmo, I like what the headline says, I'm going to post it. No. Did you know in order to be classified as a subject matter expert, it requires 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours to even come close to becoming a subject matter expert. So if you're reading an article by Aunt Susie and her only credibility is that she just thinks about these things sometimes, that's not credible. We really need to look at who is writing and creating this content. Do they have at least 10,000 hours of experience? This rarely happens. And you don't want to mess up your own credibility by sharing something written or created by someone who isn't even a subject matter expert in the area they're speaking to. Now, the next thing you want to ask about the author creator, what's their personal bias, right? Because if they are speaking from a standpoint where they are firmly entrenched in their beliefs, it doesn't make them the most credible person because they will naturally spew out what their own beliefs are. So not only do you have to look at your own bias, but what's this person's bias? Because they are more likely to report exactly what they believe in versus just everything, whether it's what they believe in or not. Next thing that I think we never ask on social media, what does the author and creator stand to gain? Do they gain financially from this, politically? And if they do, be very wary. Now, in my line of work, anytime someone gives a lecture, they have to disclose if they are making money or if they have any interests, because that then tells the audience, hey, audience, you need to be careful about the information I'm sharing because I'm biased. So first of all, I see so much being shared on the internet that's written by who knows who. Who knows who? And the other thing is that most of these articles and content are being created by people who make money if you believe what they're saying. So that is, that's an important thing to look at. Now, the other, okay, yeah, I said gains money. Yes, and make sure I'm telling it all. So bring out your magnifying glass if there's financial interest in what someone is sharing. Okay, now the last one, this is the most practical. And this is the one where I think we're failing miserably in social media. I think somehow we think social media is a playground and we have like carte blanche to do whatever we want. And we do things on social media that we wouldn't do anywhere else. Anybody else hear me on that one? So the last checkpoint should be, would I share this in a job interview? Would I share this article like as a piece of evidence? Would I share it with my boss? Would I share it with stakeholders in my company or my board of directors? Would I share it with my business colleagues or a bank who's about to invest in my business? Would I share this piece of knowledge as news? I really think we would eliminate about 80% of what we're seeing on social media if we ask that question, because I don't think so, right? Or would we want this as material in our kids' school? No. So these are 5 very simple things. If I see there's an interest, I'm going to get into more specifics regarding research, looking at credible sources. How do you determine, how can you fact check? But I didn't want to get into that because I felt like with these 5 simple things, we would eliminate a lot of the hooey that we're seeing on social media. So 5 simple things: know your own bias, check your bias, be wary of reading things that you agree with, because you're going to be more likely to dismiss if it's not truth. And also the same works in the opposite. And make sure you read the full article, the full video too. And don't forget to question, who's this author? I'm guilty of this all the time. Like, I might do the first couple ones I'm talking to you about, but then I forget, oh, who's the author? Who's the creator? What bias do they have? What financial interests do they have? And lastly, ask yourself if you would share this in an arena where you are seeking respect. Okay, so if this was helpful, if these 5 simple tips were helpful and you're like, all right, I want more, I want the juice, will you type in the comments, I'm curious about how to take this a step further? I really, I understand a lot of what I'm sharing is common sense. I have a colleague that always says that common sense is not common anymore. And I think that's true. I have to say that I'm guilty of that too, that sometimes I forget. I get a little mindless and I forget to use my critical thinking mind, especially when it comes to social media. So I hope those 5 simple tips are helpful. If you want to learn more, in the comments say, I want more, and I will do a follow-up. But for now, I think that this is a good starting place. I'd love to hear what you think and what are some of your tips that you use to determine whether something is credible or not. And I just pray that moving forward, let's all be really conscious before we share something, especially right now when there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger, a lot of division. So before we share something divisive, let's make sure it's true, okay? Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Please share this out with anyone you think may find this useful. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to share. Have a great night. Thank you. And if you have any questions, type them in the comments and I will do my best to respond. All right. Have a great day. Great night. Okay, let's see. I don't know how to stop it. Oh my God. Oh, you click finished.